Okay, so hello and welcome to the Code Maven, Rust Maven channel or meetup. My name is Gabor Sabo. This time, in this presentation, we are going to start writing a command line tool called WC with word count that exists on Linux. It's a very relatively simple command line tool. I don't know how far we are going to get with that, but let's see. Let me share the screen. So I can tell you what are we talking about. So now you're supposed to see the where is it going to be? Okay. So you're supposed to see the meetup page, and let me switch to the terminal, and that's what we are going to work and in the editor. Before I get started, a couple of words about myself. So I've been programming for about 40 years. I've been teaching programming for more than 20, many years Perl, Python, and recently also Rust. I also help companies introduce automation, test automation, or train them or help them with improving the development environment. That's in general. So we would like to implement basically a command line tool, which is called WC. So because we are on Linux, or I'm running on Linux, I can type in man WC. That's going to be the manual page of this command that I would like to re-implement. So as you might, I have some preparation. So I'm going to copy some of the things from a previous attempt of writing this. But the thing is that basically, well, actually, let's get started, and I can show it better that way. So I will need to create a new crate. So I type in cargo new, and let's call it WC because I don't have that in this folder yet. I would like this to be a library crate. Now, actually, before I do that, I thought about two different approaches, or inside out and outside in approaches to writing this code. Sort of the outside in approach would be to first write all the command line options that WWC is supposed to accept that you can see in the manual page. That would be sort of the outside in, I think. And the inside out would be first to write a library or functions that can do the work without the command line interface, test them, and then add the command line interface. So sort of I'll get started with this second method. So because of that, when I'm creating the cargo, I am saying --lib, which is not the default. This will be creating a library crate. So it created the WC folder, and inside there is the cargo tunnel, of course, which is the same as if we were just creating a regular cargo, a regular crate, nothing different here. But in the src folder, there is a lib_rs instead of a main_rs. And it already has a very basic function to add two numbers together and the test verifying it. So, and all this, so let me show this again. So there is this simple function that gets two numbers and adds them together. And then there is this test which would run this add function, get them result, and then compare the result to the expected 4. So that's the default that you get when you create a crate without this --lib, a binary crate or executable. Then you would just get a main_rs with the hello world in it. Now, if I run cargo test, I mean, if I try to run cargo run, it will tell there's nothing to run because there is no main_rs. If I run cargo test, then it will compile it and run the test. And you can see there is this one test that was executed. It also runs the doc test, but there are no doc tests in this one. So git init and git status. And so we can already add this git commit default. Okay, that's our skeleton git. Git add, I forgot, and git commit default. Okay, so I committed this just to get started, and then I can start a Visual Studio Code, opened in different separate window, and I can open this file. And then we're going to get started with this. So instead of add, we will have a function called, let's say, WC. It will get let's say, a string for now, some text, str, and for the first attempt, we'll just want to tell the length of it, so the number of characters in it. Okay, and that would be the text len. That's all we have to return. Now, does this return the text len? Does it use 64? Let's run the F8. It says that the len returns a U size and not a U64. So we can say that this is going to return U size, and then the test will change to test that it gets some text. Hello world. I can enlarge a little bit the font. Let me know if you, yeah.
A little bit more.
Yeah. Someone just wrote it, I think.
Yeah,
okay.
That's good.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I have to raise my head to notice the comment, so it might get some delay. Okay. So, and the result should be, I don't know how many characters are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I should remember how many bytes are there in the hello world. Okay, so I changed it. I think this should work now. Cargo test. Right. Let's just show you what happens if I change the input. Let's say with one character, and then it will fail, and it will say that on the left-hand side, so the result is 10, and the expected value is 11. So that's just how it works. Okay, so we have a very simple case now. I can even commit this cargo test, git add, git check in. I have an alias for commit called check in because of it's shorter. Okay, so let me show you what the WC command actually does, and what I had prepared earlier already. So I have another project called WC, sorry, RS, and in there I put a number of files. And the idea is that to prepare a couple of files and to see how WC works on them, and then write tests that will verify this. So as you can see, there are a number of these files. I can actually run WC on all of them. This is the regular WC, and it will tell us how many I think it's bytes, words, not the other way around. This is the number of bytes, this is the number of words, and this is the number of lines that are in the file. So the empty file is 000. The file which is called hello.txt. Let me show you. This is just the text hello world without even a new line at the end. So the WC reports that it has 11 bytes. Okay, we see that. We also checked it earlier. It has 2 words, hello and world, and 0. It reports 0 lines for whatever reason. That's how WC works. Okay, and then there is another example I prepared. Hello with new line. Okay, this looks like this. So let me run it again. It looks like hello world and a new line after it. So the earlier one didn't have a new line. And the result for this one is that it has 12. That's at least on Linux because the new line is there. 2 words, and this reports 1 line. Okay, so apparently it counts the new lines and not the actual physical lines there are. So let's see what if there are spaces. I don't know what is this spaces. I don't remember. Let's see, spaces. Okay, so there are some spaces at the beginning and I think at the end also. Let me open it with an edit Vim. Yeah, these red things are, Vim is configured for me to show these red things when there are training spaces or tabs or whatever, I think. So you can see that there are spaces here, spaces at the end, and the reported number of characters by WC is number of bytes is 47, 7 words and 3 lines. That's what it says. And the Unicode, so let's see the Unicode, how it looks like. The Unicode has this Unicode character in it. So there's a space, then a character, that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 characters are there. And what it reported that there are 12, okay, not 8, because it's reporting the number of bytes, not the number of characters. And that Unicode character actually is written in 4 bytes. So that's how it comes out. And these are the numbers. And of course, we might need to make more improvements for this, more cases. But let's try to copy this whole thing. So I'm going to copy this whole folder locally here. So we have these example files in locally in the, or sorry, no, I didn't mean to copy the Unicode txt. I meant to copy the whole folder files, right? Okay, so I have the folder files here, and I can start writing test cases. So what would be a test case? A test case would be getting a file name. Let's say hello.txt. Okay, reading that file in. So in the std file system, read to string. That's a very simple way to read a file. I give the name of the file name. This will return the content, except that it returns a result. So I need to do something with this result. If this was the production code, then I would handle it more carefully, the result. But because it's the testing, and I just write unwrap, that will get me the content. That will be panic if it can't read the file, but that's fine. And now I can pass in this content, and that should return the 11, right? The hello got, let me run it again here, WC files, hello. If I run it on the hello.txt, it gets me 11 bytes. So that's the number of bytes. Okay, cargo test. And it fails with this unwrap panicking because the file not found, because I just gave it the name of the file without the name of the folder. So it's in the files hello.txt. I think that should work. Okay, so this time it works because I gave it the name of the file, and now it can verify that. Okay, so we can add the files. Okay, add some sample files. That's the first step. And the other step would be to git add srclib and read the file and test read the file and test. Okay, whatever. Now, this I didn't change. I'm not sure if this is actually the right direction now. I'm thinking about it. Because what I started to do is I didn't change the WC. I just read in the file. But the WC program should be able to read the files themselves. So, so maybe there should be 2 parts of it. A function that can work based on a text that is in memory, and another one that will itself read the file. So let's change, let's add another function, or let's rename this one, okay? Of string, okay? So this is the WC of string, and we have another separate one, which is the WC that will receive the file name, and it will do this work, call the content, and call the, yeah, sorry, read in the content of that file, okay, and then call the WC of string passing in the content. Okay, and I don't need to run the text len here. So now we have a function that can work on plain strings, and we have a separate one that is supposed to read in the file content, that we will get the name of the file and we'll work on that. Actually, let me return this one here. So we have the test now that works of string. So we have a test here now that will test the function that is the internal function, and then we don't have yet the test for the WC. So let's write another test. I can copy paste this one, and let's say the WC works, and this I can change the WC of string works. And what should this do? Okay, wait a second. I have to copy this test as well. Okay, to make it a test function. And this one, instead of reading the content itself, it will use the WC function and pass in the name of the file. Okay, it's not a file pass, not any special type of parameter, just a string, and this should work as well. Okay, so if I run the test now, I think that should be working. Yeah, it seems that everything is green now. The two tests, they are both passing. So one note that you might notice that here I didn't put return, neither did I put here return, and they didn't put the semicolon. So this is an expression and it returns the value. Okay, so now we have git status, git diff. What did I do? Separated this function. Oh, and you see the git diff shows me these red things because there are some spaces at the end of the file that were changed. So let's first do this. The first thing is to git add everything and git commit separate function to work on files. Okay, and to clean up those spaces, I don't want them to be there. Instead of manually doing that, I'm going to use cargo fmt, and this runs the built-in. This runs the cargo formatter that makes the code nicer with the default configuration. So if I run git diff now, you can see that it removed an empty row here, I guess. It removed, I think, those spaces at the end, and removed another empty row. So I guess I'm writing quite close to the standard with some extra lines and extra spaces. Git add, git again, and I'm running this commit now again because I want to make sure that this is a separate commit, cargo fmt. Okay, so it has no meaning. So if later on someone looks at these things, we'll know that this is not part of some change. From now on, I should be able to remember to run cargo FMT before every commit, so it will be always clean. Actually, let me do that as well. Where is this? Meet OS. I'm just copying it from some other project I am doing. Sorry, what is it? It's pre-commit config. Okay, so what is this pre-commit config? Let me show you. There is this pre-commit application, which is actually written in Python, that allows me to configure pre-commit hooks that is things that will run on my computer before I make the commit. So every developer will have to enable this if they want to make it. It's not an enforcement. They can opt out. And then there is this configuration file that tells you what kind of checks to run. And it runs, for example, checks for typos and I don't know, whatever, all kind of other things. And among the many things, it runs cargo FMT as well. So it and also runs cargo Clippy to check everything. Now I copied the configuration file, and I need to and I already have the this I showed you pre-commit. Let me get back to it. So this pre-commit thing is already installed. Let me copy it to the chat. It's already installed, so I don't need to install it. But I have to configure it basically. So I run pre-commit and install. This, let me show you. In the Git folder, there's a subfolder in the .git folder. There's a folder called hooks, and here are skeletons for the various hooks. And one of them is the pre-commit hook, which there's a sample file. So this is not active. And what the pre-commit install does, it basically creates a file called where is it? Called pre-commit. Okay, so this is the file it created. You can see also the date. This is the new. It created a file called pre-commit that will read the configuration file and based on then execute various things. So I can also run pre-commit and it will run all the checks by itself. I can do it manually, but also when I run git add and git commit, add pre-commit, on every commit, it will run all the checks. And so it will ensure that, for example, the FMT ran properly, and also Clippy and whatever else I would like to configure there. Okay, I'm going to push out this repository to my Git account, and I will send the link, and it will be under the video as well, so you will be able to see all this and copy from here if you'd like, or avoid if that's your preference. Anyway, back to our code. So we have what we have here is a test case. Okay, let's focus on this one because this is testing the internal part. That's not that interesting. We have the test case that calls that gets a file name and calls with the WC with that file name and gets back the result. One problem that I haven't dealt with, I copied this reading the file, reading the content of the file with the unwrap, and I didn't handle any of the possible errors. For now, it's fine. Later on, we'll have to handle the errors. And here we have to handle the errors because that's the production code, right? Unlike in the test where I might not care that much. So there are two various ways to go now. Either I can add more of the test files, or on this test file, I can do the other computations. So let's write another test case here, which are, let me run the file, this one again. So let's go with the empty. This should return 0. And we can copy another one. And soon you will be fed up with the copy paste, or I will be fed up. Okay, so I'm copying this one as well. And this should return, if everything is right, 12, right? Okay, let's see if this cargo test still works. Fine, it looks fine. So we have these 3 test cases. Now I'm going to add more, but I'm sort of fed up with the fact that I'm copy pasting this. I would prefer to have a loop, a set of test cases. Now, if I was in Python, I would parameterize this function. I don't think it exists here. Maybe it does, and I will learn about it. So for now, what I do is I prepare the test case. So I'm going to say let cases, and you know what? Before that, git add, git commit, add more test cases. So you noticed I didn't run cargo FMT myself, and indeed it failed. I thought it won't fail, but it indeed failed. And if I run like git status, you will see that there is the changes I already made and staged. They are here, and now what are not staged are the changes that git fmt did. So if I run git diff now, I will see that this was the extra that it cleaned up. Okay, so I git add those changes as well. So everything is now in the staging area, and I can run git commit again, and this time it passes because, well, the formatting was fixed. Okay, any questions so far while I'm drinking? Okay, no questions now. Good. So what I said is that I am sort of fed up with the copy pasting. So let's set up cases which should have some, which basically should be like what? Should have test cases. Okay, so what should be there? It should be probably an array or like this. The first thing would be the name of the file, and then the next thing is the expected value. Okay, and for case in cases, actually I can also, instead of doing, okay, I can, instead of this, I can write file name, and what is it? Bytes, right? Bytes. The number of bytes basically that are supposed to be there, and then I can, or expected bytes. Okay, so and then I can run the function file name and here put the bytes, because these are the expected bytes. Now I put them in, instead of using the word expected, I say just bytes, because we will have also the other values. Okay, so I moved one of them, cargo test. I'm just making sure that this didn't break the test. So fine, this does the correct thing. And now I can move the other cases as well. So let's move one case, which is supposed to be 0, right? And another case, which is supposed to be 12. It's there. Okay, I can put here a comma, I think. I can remove this. So now we have the test cases. And if everything works fine, then yeah, everything passed. You can see. So I move them in. It's less copy paste. It's nicer. Git add, git commit, refactor the tests. Okay. And again, cargo format, git diff. You see, that's I really like my presentation style, the fact that I can show the failures I make, so you can see that why it's good to have set up that pre-commit hook. And anyway, the interesting part is that I've written quite a lot of Python code, and I only started to use this pre-commit now that I'm writing Rust, despite the fact that the pre-commit is written in Python. Anyway, I guess some spaces were there. I don't know. It fixed. Git add, and then I can run the commit again. Okay. And now let's add the additional test cases. So we have them all for now. And we'll see if everything works fine. So this one is going to be 47. And then the last one is and that's going to be the most interesting to figure out whether it works on Unicode properly, because the rest is sort of quite simple. Cargo test. And yes, because the len method in Rust returns the bytes, the number of bytes, not the number of characters. Good. Git add, git extend test. Okay, so now we need to do so we have all the test cases and they all return the correct length. Now let's try to change it to return, instead of the length, or in addition to length, also the other two values that WC is supposed to return. So man WC, I can get back here. It's the number of bytes, the number of lines. I think it's here. The print new line word and byte count. Okay, print new line. Oh, so it even says here it's not the number of lines, it's number of new lines. Okay, word and byte counts for each file. Okay, so how can we extend this? So this is the number of bytes. The number of words, I think if I do split white space, I think, and I run len on that one. I don't remember. Let's try this one, len. Okay, what happens if okay, it didn't like me. First of all, I forgot the exclamation mark here, and it doesn't like this len because it's a struct called white space, and I think I need to collect that to become a vector. And on that one, I will be able to do, but the collect doesn't know what type to collect, so I have to tell it to collect a vector of stuff, and I need an extra. So for the turbo fish. Okay, now it's happier. Okay, so let's see this one. Cargo test. What happens now? And it doesn't print it out. I think I need to add no capture. This is the way. No, it says no capture. Okay, one word. Okay, so just to show you, I ran a cargo test and I had to add the minus minus to separate the flags of cargo from the flags of the cargo test. and then I gave the no capture flag, and it printed out all the stuff that is being printed during the test. So you can see these numbers that we get. And I guess these are the numbers. So I did something reasonably well. Let's save this into a variable. What is it called in here? It's called word. No, it's called print new line. Okay, it's lines. Okay, lines. Let's call it lines. Okay. And let me separate, also put this in a variable. So shall we? No, let's do it this way. Okay, for now. Okay, so now we are going to return a tuple that contains the number of bytes and the number of lines, okay, or new lines basically. And so here I have to say, if I press F8, it tells me that there is a mismatch because we told it that we are returning a U size, but we are actually returning a tuple of two U sizes. So let's fix the expectation because that's what we really are after. Okay, so now it's returning the U size. And of course, now this function also needs to do the same. If I click on F8 or press F8, it also complains about the same thing because we are just passing through the data. So I'm doing this as well. And now the tests are all going to fail because, well, because this one is now returning a tuple. So let's say tuple, I don't remember what was in the case of, do you remember? In the case of the hello world, it is the hello file. The hello file, we are expecting 2 here. So let's put the expectations this way. And I'm going to remove for now, or comment out at least, these tests, okay? So we can verify that at least this works, and then I will fix all the other tests. I will put the expectations there as well. Cargo test, and it worked, whatever. Okay, so I set up that the expectation is now 11 and 2 because here up we are now returning these two values. And so I can also enable here all the tests and put here the expectations. And so each expectation is now itself a tuple. And we can see here, so this is expected to be 2. This is expected to be zeros. The hello with new line is expected to be 2. The spaces is expected to be 7. The Unicode is expected to be 2. Okay. Let's see if the tests work now. And the test worked. Okay. So, as I told you, that's not a very difficult, well, at least the basics weren't very difficult. Okay, so what did we do now? Git diff. We changed all the functionality to also handle the number of lines or number of new lines. Git add, I cargo FMT myself now. Git add, git check in, also handle number of lines. Fine. Okay. Third value, let me run it. So the third value is the number of strange. The number of words. Oh, no, I'm okay. I'm explaining it incorrectly. Or at least the commit message was incorrect, right? Because it's not the number of lines. What we do here is not correct. To the result, so these are the number of bytes, these are the number of words. And that's what we did now. By splitting up by white space, I got the number of words. So let me fix this. And luckily, I didn't push it out because I don't have a remote repo. So I can fix all these things. So it's instead of lines, it's words. Okay? And basically that's it. Nothing else changes. Cargo test. Okay? So that's fine. Git add. And now instead of doing another commit, okay, I could commit again, but now instead of that, also handle number of words. I'm going to do this and I'm running amend. Before I do this, let me show you what's going on. Git log will show you that the last commit was this one, also handle number of lines, and then before that was extend tests. Now I'm with this amend, I'm rewriting the last commit. Okay? That means we have the previous test, the commit is the extended test, and the last one is the also handle number of words. Now, if we had already pushed this out, I would not do this because then someone might rely on that one. I would live with my shame that I put the wrong variable name and the wrong commit message. And I would just then add another commit fixing this. But because I haven't pushed it out, it's all in my cubicle. I can hide it, the fact that I made this error, and I rewrote the last commit. Okay, be very, very careful with this and don't do this to other people. Anyway, so the last part, the third thing that we need here is the number of lines. So this is now the number of lines, right? And how do we do this? I think we just split on new line, and that's it. Well, actually, before that, let me make a little improvement here. What was this? It wasn't words, it was bytes. Let bytes equal to this. Okay. It's a very small and whatever maybe improvement to make it clearer. What are we doing? Cargo test, cargo FMT, cargo add. Not cargo add, sorry. Git add and git commit 3, 4. Okay. That just, I think it makes clearer. And also later on, so right now we are returning a tuple, which means it's rather unclear to the receiver what are the types of values. So which is the byte, which is the word, which is the line count. But later on we might, if time permits, probably won't, we'll also, we can convert it into a struct. So the last thing I wanted to do is the number of lines, which is text split on new line. I think that can be a character. And then, does that work? Yeah. And then it also do run collect vector. Okay, so now this one is returning a vector, and on that one I can call the len. And so now we got back the lines and we are returning the lines. And of course, it will complain about the fact that this is also U size. And then now it will complain about that, the fact that this is U size. And then now the test will be problematic. So I'm going to do the same as I did earlier. I am commenting all this out, so I also only need to handle this one, which is, now let's see the numbers. This is 0. Okay, let's run this one. Cargo test. Well, this shouldn't be, and it failed. Why? Oh, it returned 1. Interesting. Should we deduct 1? Okay. Should we deduct here 1 with the lines? Okay, let's return 1 less. Let's see if with the other. So for now, at least with this test case, this works with the -1. Let's see with all the other test cases. Okay. Actually, this is not surprising because the number of lines is 1 more than the number of new lines. As you recall, the definition in WC is the number of new lines. Okay. So let's see the numbers again here. Where are they? Here. Okay. So for the hello, the number is supposed to be 0. For the empty, it's supposed to be 0. For the hello with new lines, it's supposed to be 1. I'm copying this column, the first column. And for this one, it's 3. And for the last one, it's 1. Okay? Let's see if these test cases all work now. Cargo test. And they all passed. Okay, I'm happy. I'm happy. I don't know if I mean, there might be other various test cases that I haven't covered with. So there can be other cases that we haven't covered with this test, and those fail. We'll see, or maybe someone else will see. Cargo FMT. So now git add, git commit, and now this commit message is working, right? Also handle number of new lines. Okay, that's sort of the proper thing. Okay, so we have the internal part sort of ready. Now we need to add. Now we can go on improving it, as I said instead of a tuple of 3 U sizes, I probably would be better to return a struct and work out that way. But we also need to have the command line, and it has all kind of various other values, other flags that need to be handled. So I'm asking you now, would you like to recommend which direction to go? Okay, any ideas? You can feel free to say it or write it in the chat. If you'd like, prefer that we handle the command line, that it will be able to run from the command line and then see how to handle the command line flags, at least some of them, or to handle the struct part now first. No preferences. Okay, that's good. Then I can decide. So it's 50 past 10. So I won't work too long on this because it's way too much listening for you as well. So I think I'll get started with the command line, so people can use this from the command line, and they can also test that. So for the command line, I need to create the main RS, right? I'm going to create the main RS, and I always forgot how. Yeah, actually, Yes, so fn main, and we are saving it as main rs, and let me put print ln hi for now. Okay, so I can cargo run, and okay, so it printed out hi. This works. Now the most basic way to use WC was what you saw here, is that I ran WC and then gave it either a name of the file, so it was files hello.txt, and then this is what I got, or I could also give it basically. So I'm not sure if you know this. What this does is actually creates the Unix shell or Linux shell creates the list of the files, and the WC already sees the list of the files. It doesn't see the star. It sees the same as if you would go and type in all the files like this. Okay, so this is basically what we see. So here, what we would like to get is, let's start with this. Let args equal to standard env args. Okay, so this the standard env args returns an iterator called args, and that will go over all the items on the command line. And one of the ways you can handle this is to also collect this into a vector of things, which are going to be vector of strings in this case. Right? It's the vector of a string. Okay, so this is the command line. And I can print it out, args, and I think it needs debug mode print out. Yeah, so if I wait a little bit and I press F8, it tells that it doesn't have the display trait, but it can have the semicolon. It also tells it here. I can tell it to use the debug create, and then I can run it this way. So I run cargo files hello txt and empty txt. Okay, so you can see it. The first thing is the name of the program, which is compiled into target debug WC now, and then the names that I provide on the command line. And if I was running this with the star, then you can see that, I don't know if you can see it. Let's run it again. So I ran it with the star now, cargo run files, and one more try, cargo run -q, and then you don't see all the compilation instructions there. So here is the name of the program, and then the list of the files in some, I don't know what order, okay, whatever order, maybe the order of creation, or I don't know. So what we need to do is call WC basically with the WC program, the function, sorry, with each one of them. So for, I can do it after here, for file name in args starting from 0. Was it, how do we, I forgot how to write it. This is, I don't remember. Println file name. Is it how to write it? Yeah, I forgot. Oh, let's go over all of them. Right. So this one, this is going to print out all of them. Okay. Um, okay, good. Now I just have to put it in one. And now let's see if I do need this. I don't remember. Yeah, okay. So I don't. It was okay. The fact that I wrote one dot dot. I just needed the iter after it. Okay. So now I'm iterating over all the functions. Now I can call WC again. I just leave these print statements here because they are nice, but for now. So I call WC on the file name, pass it in as file name, and I get back, okay, this way, I think. Okay, now I forgot how to do this. Expected function found create WC create. Okay, let. Do you remember what is the order? Now, this is the reason I wanted to have a struct there because I don't remember what is the order, but I can copy paste it from here. Okay, so this is going to be the order of the values. Okay, so I'm receiving these three values into a tuple like this. Okay, great. And now I can print them out. So let's see how does this WC work. Again, files. It prints out. I'm not sure exactly what are if there are spaces or what. So let's print them out right now. Print ln. It prints out actually the lines first, and then it prints out the words, and then prints out the bytes, and then prints out the file name. Okay. And at the end, it also prints out a total, but we'll see that in a bit. So if I run cargo, oh, we got quite similar results. Okay, I mean, we know that the numbers are okay because we tested them. It just how it looks is a bit different. I don't know if I want to invest too much into making them nice. Let's do the total. So so we need to have a let total lines equal to 0 and total for the words and total for the bytes, total for the total bytes. And here I can update that. So total lines plus equal of the lines. And of course, it doesn't like me or whatever because it's immutable. So let's make them mutable. And then copy paste this one. So the words and words and bytes and bytes. Okay, so we and then print them out, of course. Okay, at the end, print them out. So at the end, print out the total lines, total words, total bytes, and the word total. Okay, so this is how it looks like, and how does it with WC? Quite similar. Numbers are good. Okay, now I could write a test with this as well, and probably I should write a test that what I would do, I would take the output of this one as it is, save it into a file, and then write a test that will execute the program and compare the results. So that would be probably a nice thing. But before that, if I run cargo files hello.txt, it with the Q, let's run. It says it also reports the total, while the WC doesn't. Okay, so here let's do this. If args len greater than 2, then print out. Okay, so now if I run with one file, it just reports that one. If I run it with multiple files, then it reports the total. Okay, that's fine. Git status. Okay, I think it's enough. Git add command line interface. File, I'll change this to file name. Okay, you see, it tells me that I can improve something here. Okay, so I can improve this one. This was, I don't know what was this actually. What was this? This was the check cargo Clippy. The Clippy told me, okay, that I can make this improvement. And that's really nice, because now it checks it before I do the commit, and then I can make the improvements, and I won't check in any of these, not just broken code, because it's not broken code, it's just something that Clippy could improve. Okay, I think it's enough for now. Maybe I'll run a follow-up on this to continue with the rest of the project. So I think what I would still like to do is add the various flags, maybe to convert it into struct. And if you have any more ideas what to do, we might be able to do that. But I think we passed the 1 hour limit, and so I think it's time to rest a little bit. So I will announce the new event later on. And so thank you for being here in the meeting, and all the people who were watching the video. Please thumbs up on the video and follow the channel. So you will get, and click on the bell so you get notified when there is a new video. So see you next time. Bye-bye.
Vale.